Namaste. Hello, all. Welcome to another episode of the Oz Moms Diaries. Thank you for constantly supporting. Continue to subscribe, like, and share. The nature of yoga is to shine the light of awareness into the darkest corners of the body. And today we have a special Osmom guest who is going to throw more light into yoga and nutrition. Shalini Abhilash. Shalini has a master's degree in yoga and nutrition, and she is an internationally certified yoga teacher from the Shivananda Ashram in Kerala. Shalini conducts regular yoga classes. She also focuses on nutrition and conducts conscious living and gut cleansing programs, also weight loss programs. Shalini takes special interest in immunity boosting and appetite enhancing for kids. She herself is a loving mom to her two wonderful kids. And as she says, spend time taking care of yourself. Otherwise, you will be forced to spend time taking care of your illness. So let's find out from Shalini how to focus more on, our inner and outer health. Hi, Shalini.
Hi, Deepti. How are you?
Good. How are you? Welcome to the Oz Moms Diaries.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's so great to connect with you back and be on Oz Moms platform.
From the beginning, how did you get an interest in yoga and nutrition, and how did you get into this profession in the first place?
The biggest thanks has to go to my mother. A working woman, a stressful job, and kids to take care, and family, personal issues, like every typical story. She used to also have a little bit of stress and how to manage her health and all these things. And that's when she joined the yoga class when I was very young. And she could really alter her life upside down with all the, whatever the issues that she was struggling from. And then that's when she got it into her head saying that as a parent, the best thing I can ever give to my child is health. I could see that yoga helped me a lot. To begin with, my mother used to take care of us from the time we were 7-8 year old into our uterus strengthening. So she used to do a lot of nutrition for us. She used to give us some special foods to eat since the time we were 8, because she used to have a lot of period issue as a woman. And 12 years when I got my puberty and I started my menstruation cycle, I was a little taken back because I used to see a lot of my friends who used to have a lot of issues during the menstruation cycle, pain, stomach pain, cramps, but I used to be perfectly fine going up and down. That's the first time I got it. Okay, fine. Practicing yoga also does something to you, It's different. It's nice. I am not sitting down struggling for 3 days in a day.
Right.
So that's how it started.
Okay.
And eventually got interested into it.
Okay. And how many years have you been practicing yoga for now, approximately?
I was introduced when I was 9-year-old, but I took to a serious practice since the time of 16-year-old.
What other benefits have you experienced practicing? I'm sure you practice it every day, right?
When I started practicing yoga from a very young age, I had a very different perspective towards life and everything else. Health, life, your emotional state. Basically, yoga helped me define my life. How should I be? How should I live my life? The definition of life. Right. All of us just have one common definition. I want to live happily.
Right.
In a way, I would say yoga helps me structure my body and mind in such a way that I live the life the way I want it. No restrictions.
Right.
For example, everybody asks me, Shalini, why do you practice yoga? Why are you so intense into it? I just have one simple definition. Forget about everything else. Irrespective of my age, whatever I want to do, I should be able to do it. My body should support it. When I'm 80, I want to eat 10 gulab jamuns, I should be able to eat 10 gulab jamuns. My body should support it. When I'm 70, I want to do a bungee jumping, I should be able to do it. So in simple words, yoga helps you become that person. Whatever you want to do, you will do it with your body and mind, design your life.
how can we use yoga to actually maybe do weight loss, or is that a myth that you can't lose weight with yoga?
Okay, now when it comes to weight loss or health, so let it be anything that we're going to talk about. You want to lose weight, you want to get rid of your illness, you want to build a strong body and mind.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to achieve, the fundamentals are going to be certain things. And if you categorize, simply comes down to your nutrition,
Right.
physical exercise, and lifestyle. You go to anybody, any experts, everybody will just speak only about these three things.
Right.
So when you come down to yoga, how yoga helps you is, the first thing yoga will do to you is make you more calmer as a person. You're more settled in your mind. You're more settled in your body. So compared to the other exercises where you're exhausting yourself, you're spending your energy, you're tired. Yoga is only one exercise where I've always heard people saying that they feel energized after exercising, not tired, not dull. So when you're energized as a person, when you're calmer in your mind, you're in a better place to make decisions for your life. You're in a better place to choose wisdom. You know what's the right thing, and you by default will start following the right thing.
Right.
So I feel that's the foundation of whatever is your goal, doing the right thing. So if you ask me, now that in this era of information technology, we all have all sorts of information. Everybody knows everything, what to do, how. The biggest challenge is bringing that into a practice. Simple. For weight loss, we all know we need to eat balanced food, we need to eat clean, we need to include all the nutrition, no junk food, no fried food, no sugar. This is something everybody knows.
Yeah.
And if you go to any expert, they are going to give you a meal plan based on this formula only.
True.
But where is the challenge? How do I inculcate and bring it to a practice?
Correct.
I feel yoga is very exceptional in that way. It's because it makes you mentally so strong to choose your wisdom.
Right. Excellent. So you advocate conscious eating, mindful eating. So please explain these terms. And also a second part of this question is people are going crazy doing multiple diets these days. Every day there's a new terminology, and it's really overwhelming for somebody who wants to, start following a healthy diet. But so please explain how to use this conscious eating and mindful eating so that we can follow a sustainable diet that is good for us in the long term.
All right. So when I say conscious living, so my programs are called conscious living. What do you really mean by it? As the word simply explains, you have to be very conscious about all your activities that you do, be it a food that you eat, be it the exercises that you do, or your lifestyle that you practice. Simple. So when it comes to eating, very specifically, what I mean by being mindful about your eating is you have to be very sure about how much nutrition does your body need first in place. All right. So you either calculate it in the form of grams, like carbohydrates, I need this many grams, protein, I need this many grams, or you calculate in the form of calories. Okay. So now I am 33-year-old and my body weight and so on. So this is the calorie I need depending on the physical activity that you do. Now the first and basic foundation is understanding your need, and second foundation is trying to fulfill that need. Simple. If you're focusing on your health, like you say, I want to be a healthy person. For example, you need 1000 calories for your body to function. You give that 1000 calories. All right. If you want to lose weight, you give only 900 calories. You're creating a little deficient of 100 calories so that your body is putting in that extra effort to digest that meal.
Right.
Now, what do I mean by a clean eating and a balanced eating? This is the biggest question that we don't understand. Now, everybody wants to follow every diet, and what I feel very sad about is every diet is focused only on weight loss.
Correct.
Weight loss. Now, is losing weight the ultimate thing? After you lose weight, what? Or how do you maintain?
Correct.
I think we're all stuck in the first stage. We don't lose weight at all. It's simple. We just don't do the right thing.
Yeah.
Right? So, conscious or the mindful eating is understanding your meal plate, how balanced it is. So when I say balanced, it has to be balanced on all the nutrition. You cannot delete any nutrition from your plate. That might be a carbs, that might be a fats, all the nutrition has to be there. When I say balanced, is there equally proportion is what I'm talking about. For example, you might have a beautiful home cooked thali, which has 2 rotis, 1 cup of dal, and salad, vegetables, everything. But that meal becomes unbalanced if you're going to use a lot of oil to cook it.
Yeah.
So you might have a cup of poha, which is very healthy, but you might make it unhealthy by adding a lot of peanut, lot of coconut, lot of oil. This is where we need to come to an understanding when I say mindful eating, conscious living, understanding the ingredients that goes into making a meal. That's what is you call as a balanced meal. If you fix that, if you can get that, you can get anything else. Weight loss, health, whatever you want.
What is this gut cleansing program?
Why we say gut cleansing is why we focus on, when it comes to detox, the main focus is going to be your stomach. So why stomach is the main focus than all the other organs? Because stomach is the extremely abused organ in our body. We have abused it right, left and center since the time of our birth because we have never been practicing a mindful way of eating.
Right.
So when I say abused, I mean to say it's been overworked. It's either overworked or underworked. There is no time, there is no pattern. So what happens? Your stomach is the core of energy producer in the body. Basically, your energy is produced through the digestive system.
Right.
So if the machine which is not capable of producing that energy, that's when your body sees a downfall. That can be anything. You're either gaining weight, you're having a hormonal imbalance, you're going to have health issues. A very normal common issue like allergy. So if you go to a doctor, he says allergy is purely related to your immunity. Your immunity building. All these things are completely related to the nourishment of the body.
Right.
So when it comes to eating, we all focus on the first half of the eating. That is what to eat. Okay, I'm going to eat a carrot. That's very good. I'm going to eat an apple. That's good. The second part of the story is where none of us usually pay attention is your body capable enough to absorb those nutrition? So now I'm going to put food into my body, but how sure I am that my body has absorbed it? Right. I don't know. I just put the food inside and I forget. Now this is where gut cleansing comes into a place where it's a 5-day program where you're going to relax your gut, relax all the system, digestive system. We're going to eat only sattvic food. And there's a very particular diet that we follow, eating only sattvic food, preparing your body for 3 days. The 4th day is going to be a detoxing process where you're going to cleanse your entire system. And you might be a little shocked when you do that process. It's because we are going to drink a lot of water and flush out the toxins out. You might find food particles which you have eaten 10 days, 15 days before coming out. So that's how food has been sticking into your internal walls and organs. And that is what is making the system very sluggish. So it's a 5-day program which goes like this. Somewhere down the line, we were very disciplined as young kids, right? We used to sit down on the floor, eat your meal, no watching TV. I think it will be fantastic if you can just do whatever you were doing as a child. You don't have to do anything else, anything more. Don't bring anything else. Just as a young child, we all remember what we did. And if you can just do that, nothing like it.
True. So, coming to you actually have a campaign coming up, right, with regards to immunity building in young kids or kids nutrition. So can you give us a sneak peek into that?
My child nutrition program is all about bringing back a very simple superfood that we all ate as young kids, and that's been totally lost. You can't even find it anywhere now. That's the most shocking part of it. So bringing that back, how can you use a normal, simple staple from your kitchen? I don't believe in investing big money, bringing, big fancy products. Just a simple thing that's available at home. How do you bring it? And again, as I say, what to eat is 50% of the program. The other 50% of my program is going to be how to inculcate that into a habit. For example, my kids eat moringa powder, the drumstick leaf powder, every alternative day. Now everybody gets shocked. It's like, how do you get your 4-year and 6-year-old to eat a moringa powder? That's, that is when, as a mother, I started understanding the tricks to get your child into a discipline.
Okay.
So this program is going to be about 50% of what to make your child eat to make them stronger. Another 50% how you're going to inculcate into their practice. And the biggest worry every mother has is my child is not eating enough. My child doesn't eat. The
Right.
fussy eater, cranky eater. So we are going to try understanding why is your child fussy? There should be a reason, right? The child is not fussy or cranky without a reason.
Correct.
Why is the child a fussy eater? We are going to try understanding that and how to fix it. So this program is going to be about that. We are extreme into two things. Every mother, that's very usual, natural mother tendency. We prioritize certain foods as very crucial. Like I can't, oh my God, I can't take milk out of my child. I can't take an energy drink out of my child. We prioritize certain foods beyond whatever it is. Whatever is the thing. And second thing, as a mother, we all make one mistake is we do guilt feeding to our kids. I call it a guilt feeding. It's because what we do, we basically go try feeding our kid. The child is cranky, fussy, not eating. We can't accept that the child's stomach is empty. So we land up giving what the child wants. And that food would 99% be a processed junk food. So we are of an opinion saying that at least my child has eaten something. So that's much better than not eating anything. If you ask me, it's much better that your child is on an empty stomach for 2-3 hours than eating a bad food.
Right.
So what happens in this process is you're imprinting a taste into a child's head. This is what is happening in every child. So if you have made a processed food as your daily affair, like a breakfast cereal, process is simple, anything that's gone into a machine and come out ready-made. A biscuit, an energy drink. Now, all this processed food is going to imprint certain taste memory cells into the child's brain. So whenever you want to make something at home, definitely your child is not going to like it. This is one simple reason why the child is fussy. So the basic thing as a mother, please delete this practice of guilt feeding. If your child is not hungry, give a gap of 1 or 2 more hours. Absolutely.
Have this pandemic situation now, and we have a lot of talk about building immunity, boosting immunity, and everybody is eating ginger, turmeric, pepper, everything. So what are some of the tips that you can give us that we can use to build our immunity?
So let's look at it in 2 ways. One, we are already in a pandemic situation. What I can do better now, present situation. So I just always tell people is, please ensure that you eat a very balanced, clean, home-cooked meal. Very basic to begin with. Very simple mantra I always tell people is, eat 2 different fruits in a day. Mandatory. 2 different fruits in a day, and ensure that you're eating that 2 different fruits before 6 o'clock in the evening. Don't eat fruit after 6 o'clock in the evening. Ensure that you're consuming 2 cups of fiber-rich vegetables in your day. So 2 cups mandatory on that. And the third part, I would very strongly recommend people, and if you go to my Instagram posts, that's going to be a big thing. I'm a big fan of this thing called as a veggie juice. We all eat vegetables, cooked vegetables, but a raw vegetable juice is going to do really magic, if I can call, into your body. Cleanses you, keeps your gut very healthy and strong, the richest form of fiber you can ever take. Use any vegetables that you have access to. Your radish, your carrots, your greens, your tomatoes, whatever you have in the fridge, just pick 2 vegetables, wash it, put it into a blender or a cold press juicer, add some water. I would recommend people not to throw away the pulp. Consume it pulp otherwise. 1 glass of vegetable juice in this pandemic situation, very crucial. It's because if your gut is not clean and strong, no matter what, you're not going to absorb the nutrition. So this is currently to do. And for adults, I would recommend amla. Your gooseberries to be a part of your diet. For kids, the moringa, the drumstick leaves.
Right.
And apart from all these things, this pandemic is going to settle down. And once it settles down, this should be a learning that we all understand, that let's not wake up when something is going wrong. Let's build our health as a process.
Right.
It's a process.
Right.
So let's do it from day 1.
Right. Rapid fire. We did it a little bit this time. So
Okay.
I asked my subscribers if they have something to ask you, and many of them sent me messages on the channel, on Facebook, on my private messages. So I just made a small collection of them. So I just want to
Sure.
ask you
Mhm.
questions. So Hema, one of my subscribers, asks if there is something to avoid in a kid's diet, then what is it? Other than this already spoken junk food and things, is there anything else which you should avoid from a kid's diet?
So when it comes to kids' diet, you have to be very precise or very specific that you're not going to overburden their stomach. So I would say avoid green leafy vegetables in the dinner. So keep your breakfast as strong as possible, dinners as light as possible. And I would always recommend parents, please don't start your kids' day with milk. So because it's a routine, as soon as they get up, they drink a glass of milk. You know? So I feel there are certain foods which are very hard to digest. For example, milk is a product which is very hard to digest.
Correct.
Just a glass of milk will take around 4-5 hours to digest. So the moment you're going to give your child a very hard food to process in the beginning of the day, you will see that the rest of the day is going to be a downfall. So I always start my kids' day with a breakfast. They wake up and they don't eat anything until their breakfast. So by the time of breakfast, they're really hungry. So they wake up around 7 o'clock. The breakfast is around 8:39. So after waking up, it's 1-2 hours time. So I always tell, don't start your day with milk. Start with a breakfast. Don't do greens in the night, in the evening, especially the dinners. And if your child wants to eat anything oily, as you said, homemade. So now this is a festival season for us. So even I also make dabbas and dabbas of all the homemade stuff. So when I'm giving something oily to my child, I'm ensuring that I don't give it in the time of breakfast, lunch, dinner, not the main meal part. Other than that, I just give them. If I give those oily foods to them, I ensure that I substitute or I reduce milk a little bit that day. Don't overfeed them with a lot of heavy, hefty foods. Simple things like that.
Okay, good one. And another subscriber, Nisha from Canada, she asks, is cardio required along with yoga? What are some of the things to keep in mind while practicing yoga every day?
Okay, so yoga counts under the category of strength training. So when it comes to exercising, 2 parts come in. One is your cardio, one is your strength training. Cardio is where you work on raising your heartbeat, and your body is going to consume more calories to manage that heartbeat. Strength training is where you're going to work on your joints and muscles. So how you can balance these both in a yoga practice? If you're going to do Surya Namaskara very slow, that's a strength training. And if you're going to do it a little fast and more numbers, that's called cardio. So it's just about increasing the speed and decreasing. It's just going to be doing it more like mindful and slow. It's going to be a strength training. So 3 days you can try practicing yoga in a little slower pace. 3 days in a week you can try indulging in more Surya Namaskar. So that balances both cardio and strength training.
Got it. Good tip. So Divya Mani from UK asks, what food can Shalini recommend for calming gut health the night before a yoga session? So what do you... Yeah.
So early dinner is the best thing that you can do. So when I say early dinner, what am I defining by early dinner? You need to have your dinner 3 hours before going to bed. So, and also there's a rule for sleeping. You have to be sleeping in a deep sleep from 10 o'clock in the night to 4 in the morning. That's the time when your body is working very strongly according to the circadian system to repair yourself. So 10 o'clock, if you're supposed to sleep, you're supposed to have your dinner by 7. That's the logic behind it. Have an early dinner, have a light dinner. You are great in your class next day.
Okay, great. Another subscriber, Sushma, she has a question about what is the need of the day for a toddler? So what foods should a toddler be consuming in a day? Because many toddlers are pretty fussy in phases. They don't eat anything.
Best practice that you can ever do to a toddler is making them eat a very simple pale food. So if you can do that, they will adopt to any food that comes later. One of that. Second thing for a toddler, always give them well cooked food, highly cooked food. So don't give them half mashed, half cooked. So highly cooked food, one. And third thing, as apart from the nutrition, The best thing I would tell a mother is you need to crack that formula to make your child fall in love with food. As a mother, if you're going to expect that my child is going to sit down and eat his food on time and right, that's not going to happen.
Final word of advice in terms of yoga and nutrition to everyone watching.
All right. So why do I choose nutrition and yoga? As I told you, your first and foremost, your health goals has to be in a bigger picture. Don't keep a short-term goal, clothes, functions, weddings. Make a bigger goal for your life. Clean eating, food is going to be the fundamental of who you are and how your body is going to function. So clean eat always. I've always been asked this question, does that mean that we can't indulge in the so-called tasty food? So my take is, if you can 90% of the time clean eat and keep your body in such a condition that even if you're going to indulge yourself in food outside, junk food outside, your body is not going to break down because of it. Your body is not going to change because of it. So 90% of the time, eat clean. So the 10% that you're going to do is not going to affect you. Maintain that. Why yoga over all the other workouts? I personally recommend and I practice as myself is, somewhere I just feel yoga is a wholesome practice, something that cater to the needs of my body and mind both. So I just get everything out of it. Calmness, I'm physically strong, and of course the best ancient wisdom that our forefathers have left us. So just indulge in 1 hour of, okay, let's begin with 30 minutes of yoga practice a day. Start with basic Surya Namaskar, very basic postures, and just 5 minutes in a day to observe your breath. 2 things as a woman I follow. I feed myself first, then feeding my family. Yeah, a lot of people give me a big, I am like, oh my God, you eat first? I was like, yes, absolutely. I eat first, I nourish myself first. That way I am a better, more calmer and a patient mother to feed my child. Right. If I'm going to feed my child first, I'm going to lose patience, I'm going to be more hungry, and I'll end up eating more. So I always feed myself first, then feed my family. And second thing is that I plan out every single day what I'm going to eat tomorrow. I have an Excel sheet which I put in. So that Excel sheet is shared between me, my husband and my kids and all. We type in what we want to eat, we're going to finalize. So if you ask me, Shalini, what are you going to eat for 4 o'clock tomorrow evening? I know what I'm going to eat. That way I don't cheat, I eat clean, and I'm more better in my eating practice.
Very good tip. Thank you so much, Shalini, for sharing all this information with us, and it was so useful. So I wish you all the best for your campaign and your upcoming programs.
Thank you so much, Deepti. It was really very lovely connecting back to you, and I really have to say the work you are doing and the sessions you are bringing out is really very nice. I also wish best for your future endeavors and all your ventures out there.
Thank you so much, Shalini.